Hello, everybody. This is Bernie Floresca with Career Services, and today is September 13th. We have another resume workshop, and we have Amartya, who kindly agreed to have us talk about her resume today. We also have Venkata and Jisun, who have their resumes on standby. We'll be jumping back and forth between everybody's resume to talk about resumes today. So Amartya, if you could please go to the LinkedIn group, and I want you to do it the quote unquote hard way under the search box, because we want students who are not part of the group to know how to find it. Type in Illinois Tech Career Services. And then see all results. And then you notice how you have, click groups on top, groups.
Okay.
So for the folks who are not part of the group, when you type in Illinois Career Services, there are two, by the way. The reason I asked Amartya to go to groups specifically is there's also a quote unquote people that's called Illinois Tech Career Services. So there's a people and there's a group. You want to go to the group, and if you're not part of it, you're going to see the word join. But obviously, Amartya is already part of the group, so she's just going to click on View Posts. So please do that. Welcome, Merlin. Hi, Merlin.
Hey, hi, Bernie.
So if you feel free to jump in for any of the questions, but we're working on Amartya's information right now. You probably have some follow-up to our resume. Thanks for joining us, Merlin. So please be on standby and feel free to jump into the discussion, okay?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bernie.
Yeah, no problem. So everybody, you're seeing Amartya in the LinkedIn group. She now goes to the first piece of content. The first piece of content where it shows index, she's going to click on index.
Yeah.
I like to tell students that the index is going to be their best friend because, number one, you're busy students. Number two, this index is available to you 24/7 to take a look at different topics that students come to career services with. So the first topic that you guys are seeing is hashtag alumni. Scroll down slowly, please. The next topic is hashtag business relations. Keep going, please. And all of these are content based on the topics. Keep going. If you notice, business relations has a lot. The next one is hashtag cover letter. But now let's go to the resume, which is the intent of this call. If you could please do a Ctrl F or a Command F resume.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry.
no worries. You're doing great. Thank you, Amartya. So she is now in the section of the index that is talking about resumes. So she is going to notice how you have the workshops from September 1st, 2022, all the way to July 15th, 2023. After this call, we're obviously going to have the September edition that will be added to this list, whereby we do a workshop on people's resumes because it's hands-on application. It's not just talking about this information. So everybody, notice how you have the workshops, and then you have the case studies. And then if you keep on going down like Amartya's doing, there's a section, stop right there, please, where it says describing versus accomplishments and results, all the way to the bolded career log accomplishments results. That section talks about the usual problem that students have in that they talk in their resume bullets about task descriptions versus the results and accomplishments. So we'll talk about that shortly as we go into actual occurrences in your resumes. So if you could scroll back up, please, Amartya, to the sixth bullet that says resume iteration homework. So Amartya is kindly opening up the link. So I showed you guys hashtag resume. I showed you the group workshops. I showed you the case studies. And then that portion that says need more AI help, you can also open up those links. We don't need to do it right now, but those are recordings as to how to use ChatGPT to work on some parts of your resume. So before I proceed, You can close this window now, please.
Yeah.
Any general questions from anybody on the call before
Hi,
I go
Hubert.
into... Hi, Arpita. Hello. Arpita, you were trying to say something? Arpita's not trying to say something. I need to mute her. Arpita, were you trying to say something?
No. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
I
No
had to mute
worries.
my.
All right, thank you. So no questions. Let's actually, why don't we do, can you please click case study 8 old?
Yeah.
And I want some involvement with everybody who's on the call. We're going to talk about the resume design principles. If you could make this a little bigger,
Yeah.
Amartya, so that people can see it. Maybe do a Ctrl plus. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
First point, it says always think like the hiring manager and their job description. I want reactions from Amartya, who's probably seen this for the first time. I know Merlin has seen this. Venkata, have you seen this?
Yes, Bernie. Yeah.
All right, cool. So if you had anything else to add, or Arpita, I was more concerned about the new folks like Amartya. What do you get from number 1, Amartya?
So when I look at a job description, think from their perspective as opposed to what my perspective, who is applying.
Very good. So quick question for you, Amartya. The resume that we have to look at, were you thinking about a specific job description when you put it together, or you pretty much just put information about yourself?
I just put my information.
Very good. Thank you for your honesty. And usually, and actually, you're not alone. Everybody usually does that until number 1 is pointed out to them. So in order for us to be effective with a resume, we always want to think like the hiring manager. And the way we do that is the job description. Because who put together the job description? It's the hiring manager, correct?
Yeah.
So if we take a look at the job description and then we tailor it to the job description, when they take a look at the Amartya's tailored resume, they go like, oh, perfect match. Call Amartya in for an interview. That's a desired effect.
Yeah.
Other reactions from Arpita or Venkata or Merlin? No other reactions? We're going to go to number 2. What do you get out of number 2?
Make it short and
Not make it short. I actually bolded what I need you to get out of this.
Yeah.
Hiring managers have a lot of time or little time?
Little time.
That's a reality that everybody has to deal with in today's job search. Again, nobody can refute it, that recruiters, hiring managers, all these people on the other side that we want to get their attention up, they're very busy. Overwhelmed is actually a word that comes to mind. So considering that, aside from tailoring your resume to their job description, whatever you write in the resume also has to take into account that they're very busy. So if you notice, I highlighted the words easy, fast, access to relevant information that is relevant to the job description, and you want to do this sooner versus later. Any other reactions? Amartya?
Nope.
Got it.
Venkata, no reactions? Let's go to your resume really quick now, Amartya.
Okay. Should I open my resume?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me one
So this is what I mean about workshop. We're talking about live. We're going to be going back and forth still, Amartya. So you're doing a great job being our, how do you call this? Our visual content manager. So Amartya, okay. When Amartya has the full attention of the reader, the hiring manager, she took advantage of a summary. Okay. So in her summary, she says collaborative and results-driven computer science graduate student with 2.5 years experience. She mentions the technologies, demonstrated ability to work effectively. So let's hear reactions from Venkata and Merlin because they've been through my sessions. What do you have to say? I'm actually checking in to see whether they retained the information that we spoke about. Venkata and Merlin, reactions to Amartya's summary, please.
So you can have some points. I mean, that can highlight the specific figures, so that can grab the attention from the hiring managers.
I understood what Venkata said. Amartya, did you hear what he said?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what do you think is missing based on what Venkata just shared?
So whatever the job description says, like a specific technology or what they're looking for, maybe I need to incorporate that into my summary.
Yes, but Venkata was talking about something very specific. Say it again, Venkata, make it clear for Amartya, please.
Yeah, I'm saying like you can have some specific figures, so that can grab the attention of everyone who's looking at the resume.
He said specific
Some
figures. So take a look at
specific
what you
numbers.
said,
Yeah.
Amartya. You said demonstrated ability to work effectively. The
Mhm.
demonstration of that ability is your results and accomplishments with the tasks.
Yeah.
So when Venkata talks about, specific numbers,
Mhm.
he's talking about your results, so that you don't just have to claim saying that you have demonstrated ability. You're going to give them data
Got it.
as
Mhm.
to why you have that ability. You're not just saying you have demonstrated. You're going to say, hey, I accomplished X.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Very good. Nice job, Venkata. So just general information, Amartya, don't worry about the summary, because the summary is going to come from the bullets in the rest of the information that you have in your resume.
Okay.
Remember when
So
we said earlier? Oops, sorry, was that a question?
I was just asking, is it okay if we can just skip the summary?
Yeah, we definitely will skip it because that's going to come from the bullets.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So here's the next instruction. Remember how we said easy, fast access to relevant information, right?
Yeah.
You did a great job. You had the right idea of putting a summary on top, though it's not the best right now, but you have the idea that we want to capture their attention. That information is going to come from the bullets that you now have in your resume. So quick question for you, Amartya. With all the information that you have on your resume, what is the most impressive bullet or job or background that you have that would be most attractive to somebody who's looking for an intern? You're looking for an internship, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so which part of this resume, as you see it, is going to be most impressive to a hiring manager in your mind?
I think this part over here, the experience part.
Okay, there's two. So between the software engineer and the associate software engineer, which of the two is going to be most impressive?
I'd say this part because it has
Okay,
more.
good. So let's focus on this first.
Mhm.
And then the second bullet we're going to focus on is the software engineer above that you just
Yeah.
showed. And then once we word the bullets, we're going to put some of that in the summary to
Okay.
make it look like, let's go back to the index, please.
Yeah.
Remember how I said we're going to be going back and forth?
Yeah.
So let's go to the index. I want to close this window and then open up case study 7 better.
Okay.
And then you'll see the actual resume. Go to the bottom of the post, bottom right, there's a square. Hover, there you go.
Yeah.
And then make it bigger for everybody to see. What are you noticing about this summary versus your summary, Marthia? This is what Venkata was talking
Yeah.
about earlier.
I see numbers here.
So you see, which one is more impressive, yours or Merriman's?
This one for sure.
Why?
She has, I mean, more detail.
It's not just more detail, because she could have talked like she was sewing on Sunday, she swept the floor on Tuesday. Those are all details, right? That's not these details. What kind of details are you seeing?
She mentioned figures, like 5 to 6.
Figures relating to what specifically?
Her work.
Her results and accomplishments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, her details on what she accomplished with the tasks. Make
Correct.
sense?
Yeah.
So when Marilyn originally came, or anybody coming to Career Services for that matter, they have a version of a resume that looks like yours. They already have bullets, but
Mhm.
they're not very results oriented.
Okay.
Okay, so all of these that you see in the summary at the moment came from her bullets below. So I asked Marilyn the same question, which one's going to be most impressive? She said this one, then this one. So we
Yeah.
started working on those bullets first, which is what you're going to do. And then once we have those final versions, we put it in the summary, and then some form of that massage with the rest of everything else becomes the summary.
Got it.
Questions from anybody? Let's go back to your resume, please, Amartya.
Yeah.
So let's work on the associate software engineer. Actually, you have some results and accomplishments called out here. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullets. Is the most impressive what you bolded?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I were you, I would put the most impressive on top
Oh,
and then
okay.
categorize it from most impressive to least impressive. You don't have to do it for now, but remember how we said easy, fast access sooner
Yeah.
versus later. So everything in your resume, starting from the top all the way to the bottom, is always most important. Less,
Got
less, less, like that.
Got it.
So received the Beacon Award out of how many employees?
Out of the whole, I mean, I could say almost 100.
Okay, so notice how there's a difference when you say the received the Beacon Award of 100 employees. You're
Got
giving the hiring manager context of how huge this accomplishment is.
Yeah.
Does it
Makes
make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the other bullets that you quantified. Your very first bullet, you said successfully underwent training in Java. Let's hear what Merlin and Venkata have to say about your first bullet. Anything?
I
Merlin?
think it's more of yeah, successfully underwent training. It's like more in general, I felt.
Yeah, what she can do is she can put it down at the last because it doesn't show anything that she accomplished specifically. Like anyone can undergo the training, so it's better to put it down.
Do you get that, Amartya?
Yeah.
Or I could combine that with the other bullets,
Yeah.
if that's what the experience is. But to Venkata's and Merlin's point, as a standalone, it's not really saying a whole lot. And to Venkata's point, well, you're assumed to know. That's why they hired you, because you're qualified in these technologies. So when you said you successfully underwent training, it's an expectation that you're claiming as an accomplishment.
Yeah. Got
Make
it.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if I were you, I would probably incorporate Java string and all that into the rest of the other bullets where it makes sense.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. Second bullet.
I mean, that is also general, right? Service now you utilize for creation and maintenance ticket. So if a technical person would read it, like for me, I think this is more generalized. But that fourth point carries more weightage, like implemented 50 requirement. That is something achievement, like that carries more weightage than the second point. That's what I think. So
Very good. Very good, Merlin. The other thing that I would change here, Amartya, is how many support tickets are we talking?
So I have written that in the third point. I just wanted to mention that I know service now in the second point. So
Okay,
yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And did you notice how you're creating your bullets independent of the other? I would connect it all because you're kind of making distinct points and you're hoping that the busy hiring manager is going to connect all these points.
Got it.
Don't make them connect the points because they're very busy. You tell them as you want them to see it. So I wouldn't put it as a separate bullet. I'd incorporate it into whatever you're saying it was connected to.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing that I was trying to mention to you is you have an idea of how many support tickets, the way that you worded it, maintenance of support tickets versus, let's just say you work on 1,000 support tickets.
Mhm.
Maintenance of 1,000 support tickets makes much, much more of an impression
Yeah.
compared to how you worded it.
Yeah. Got it.
Questions? Questions? You good?
Yep.
Okay. So do you have any questions about this? Otherwise, we'll go on to the top. Or do you feel you understand what's missing in your resume so that you can go back to the drawing board, work on it, and then we can take a look at somebody else's resume? I'll let you decide, Amartya, since you were the first one on the call.
I think I've got it.
Okay.
I'll,
And I gave you the resources as well.
yeah.
Okay. So you kind of understand what direction you need to do.
Yeah, I did get it. Yeah.
All right. So the next steps for Amartya, Venkata and Merlin, could you please share what my expected next steps of Amartya is after she starts improving some of her bullets?
She mentioned almost everything, but she can make the bullet points effective by combining all the information into like a single or 2 points. Like as in with the second section, she mentioned like she have utilized service now, but then she missed to mention how many tickets she managed, so she can put the same information in the same point itself. So it would be easy for the hiring managers to, they don't need to go to the second and third points. They can get the look in the first point itself.
Yes, thank you. And I think she got that. My question was, what are next steps for Amartya so she can actually get to the next step? I guess I was talking about the LinkedIn messaging. I don't think I've seen anything from Venkata or Merlin, but I did tell you guys that that was the next step for you, right? Once you work on your bullets, what's the next step for you? I want you to manage the final version of your resume, but like for Amartya right now, she's going to work on associate software engineer, that whole session. She's going to copy all those bullets, put it in a LinkedIn message to Bernie, and she say, Bernie, this was the original message. This is my rewrite. And then Bernie's either going to ask questions or rewrite it for her.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Bernie, you're right. Yeah.
The other thing that's missing that I haven't mentioned is go back to the index, please.
Yeah.
Another tool from the index is if you scroll further down, keep going, right where it says impact using ChatGPT-2, open that and let's talk about this for a second. So have you used ChatGPT before?
Yes.
So you know that the output is only as good as you in giving directions. The reason I painstakingly talk about the principles of resumes is so that if you use ChatGPT, you give it specific instructions so that you get the output of what we're talking about as far as our design, right? So all those things where we said, think like the hiring manager, easy, fast access, sooner versus later. ChatGPT needs to know all of that in order for ChatGPT to give you the bullets the way we want it. Okay. So feel free to take a look at this to help you, because what we haven't talked about, there's two things that are covered in this specific piece of content. Number one, we talk about tailoring your bullets to the job description bullets. That's in this YouTube video, YouTube short. And then towards the end of it, we're talking about if you have bullets that are not impact related, like your summary. We know that you already know that information, Amartya, in your other bullets, so you don't need this as much, but I'm saying that there's a description, there's a strategy to use ChatGPT so that you get into the results and accomplishments using ChatGPT. So I'm purposely not talking about it so that the listeners get to check out this video. So close this window, please.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions, Amartya? Otherwise, we can ask Venkata or Merlin to share their resume if they were ready. Or
No,
open it up to other questions in general.
I think I'm good. I'll just to clarify, I just need to, redo it and send it to you so that you can review it, right?
It was very specific, my request, okay? All
Yeah.
students, I tell them to send me a message, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine what my inbox looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before I did that, students would be sending me resumes. It takes time for you to do the complete resume. It takes time for me to open up the complete resume. And if you send me multiple iterations, I just sent a message to another student requesting them to manage that, because if I have to open up a resume, I don't know where we started, we finished, you have no other words, I have to figure out what's different. But because I'm very busy, I'll just look at it like I saw it for the first time, and where I see something I need to comment on, that's what I comment on.
Okay.
So to make it more efficient for you, I need you to manage the sections. Notice how during this call, you called out one section and then there's a next section. When you
Yeah.
send me messages for comments, I want you to take responsibility for which part you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just send me that part, because it's easier
Okay.
for me to comment on that if I see it versus if somebody sent me the whole resume, I don't know what to look at.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll just look for a problem area and I'll focus on that.
I got it. Yeah.
Questions about the methodology?
No,
Awesome. Thank you, Martha.
no problem.
Other questions? Venkata
No,
or
we're
Merlin,
good.
you guys ready to share your resume and talk about your questions for your resume?
Benny, actually, my apologies. I couldn't share my resume because I'm outside and I didn't want to miss this session, so I'm attending the meeting on my mobile.
Oh, sure, no worries. Did you have any
Yeah.
general questions about what we've spoken about so far? Thank you for joining us and making it work for you, Venkata. So questions, I'm actually buying some time for Merlin if she decides that she wants to talk about her resume. So did you have any general questions about our topic? I would open it up to anything else, but we could do that towards the end of this call so that anybody who wants to drop off, let's just keep it resume for now. And then if you have questions towards the end of everybody, then we can ask anything else aside from resume. Any specific resume questions, Venkata, or about the material we just talked about?
No, Ben, I'm good as of now.
Very good. Thank you. Merlin, your turn. Did you want to share anything about your resume or have questions that you've run into since we've met?
I mean, Bonnie, with the resume, I am fine. Like, I've got like how to utilize metrics on which bullet points I need to focus more, and how should I curate my resume as per the job description. But one question I have, like, after I am done with the resume, like the whole version of my resume, so like it should be one should be a general resume, and then when I look at job specific, so it should be curated as per the job descriptions of the jobs, right? So one, like, make a general version of the resume and then modify it as per the job descriptions. That's how that's how we do it, right?
Yes, with one little modification. When you said one general resume, I would like to refer it as the version that has all of the bullets that you want. Okay. It's not, let's see. Sorry. It's not a generic resume, so to speak, but I would like to call it a repository that looks like a general resume that has a version of all the bullets that you like, the way it was worded. The reason I say it's not a version of resume, because I have done this in the past as well. I go from job to job to job, I'm trying to tailor it, and then I have 10 versions. The problem with that is sometimes I'd be like, oh, I remember I worded it this way, but I don't know which of those 10 to go to now. So the reason I say you should have a general repository that kind of looks like a general resume is because now it has all your bullets in one spot. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I clarified that based on what you were saying. What was your question?
I
Was
mean,
that the
yeah,
question?
yes. I got it right. Have all the bullets in that, and don't make a 10 versions, but have like a repository of everything that I want to put into, and then curate it accordingly.
And that's where you get your bullets. As you're curating it for specific resumes now you know you can just go to this one source. It has any bullet that you need.
Okay.
Very good question. Other questions?
I mean, after the resume is done, then you said that we need to look at business relations also, right? So just
Yes.
go through the, okay.
Actually, I'm going to end this part of the resume section so that I can end the recording, and then we can just make this a general session of any questions, kind of like a coaching session. So any final questions about resume? Even Amartya, if you thought of something else, and then I'm going to stop the recording for this resume section, and this would be a good 30-minute resume video. Any last minute questions about resume before I cut this portion out, and then I can answer any other topics. Final questions about resume.
Bunny, do you think adding buzzwords actually helps?
Very good question. The easy answer is yes. However, I do not like to talk about buzzwords or keywords because, especially you data students or computer science students, you're like all about keywords, keywords, keywords. Keywords show up organically if you tailor your resume, take a look at the job description, and speak of your experiences in relation to the job description. Did you notice how my focus was my background as it relates to the job descriptions, and then the keywords organically show up versus the straight focus on only keywords?
Got it. Mm-hmm.
You got that point?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
So did I also answer your question? I gave you the quick answer, but I
Mhm.
also clarified it from a bigger picture
Yeah.
of tailoring, and then the keywords organically appear.
Yeah. Got it.
Very good. Very good
Yeah.
question. I'm glad you asked that, Amartya, because that's usually a question that comes up.
Mhm.
Other questions on resume?
Yeah, I have
Then
one.
yes, I have a question too.
Yeah, go on.
In what cases it would be better to go for a two-page resume instead of a one-page resume?
Another good question. It's not really about one page or 2 pages. It's about relevance to the job description. If you did some heavy lifting and everything in the job description, you had everything that was relevant, results, yada, 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 and it fit into 2 pages, by all means, do 2 pages. The problem with 1 page, 2 page is it's usually 2 pages of not relevant information. Did that answer your question?
Yes, perfect.
Very good question, because that's usually a question. And it's not really about 1 page or 2 page. It's about the relevance of the information, because I go back to the design principle number 2. Who's reading this? It's a busy hiring manager. Very good questions. Other resume questions? Amartya, it sounded like you had another one.
Actually, my question was the same. It was
Okay.
related to the length of the resume. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So I think we covered it all. So thank you everyone for coming to the September edition. It was a short one because of the mix of the crowd that we have today. Amartya got what she needed. Feel free to listen to any of the other resume recordings, but we will end this session's recording. And then I'm